Welcome back to the next segment of our color mixing art lesson. This segment is going to have two videos to it. This first video is super short. It's just me explaining the materials you're going to need and how to pour the paint, and to ask for an adult to be present with you for this part of it. So what I'd like you to do is get the following materials, and then I'd like you to go grab an adult who can spend about an hour to an hour and a half with you to do this lesson, ideally, or at least the very beginning of the art lesson for the pouring of the paint. So I'm hoping that this could be a school-home connection type of a lesson where the adult in your house who is able and would love to do this with you can have just a bonding experience with you through an art lesson. So I'm going to go over the materials you need, and then I'm going to have you go get those materials and go grab an adult. You're going to need your, you have a lot of materials in your packet this month, just because paint is very involved. So go and grab the paper clipped materials that you have and get the following out. You're going to need your color wheel numbered 1 through 12, your paper plate. It's numbered 1 through 12 also. The odd numbers are on the outside, even numbers are on the inside. An extra blank paper plate. So these three things here. You need to get your paintbrush that was given to you. If you have any other paintbrushes in your home that you might want to bring for this as well, you can. I highly suggest, if you did smaller details than suggested, that if you have a tiny tooth or a tiny paintbrush from maybe a watercolor set, you grab that. You're also going to need a cup of water. You're going to need a paper towel, or if you want to just grab a paper towel roll or a napkin, something like that. You are also going to need your primary color set. It's red, yellow, and blue. It's in a Ziploc bag, rubber banded. Grab that. And of course, you are going to need your drawing that you've already done. So this is Joey's drawing. So go get your drawing of your birds and go grab an adult, and all the other materials I just asked. Come on back, press the play button again. And I'm going to show you how we're going to pour the paint. And after that, this video will be done, and you are going to click on the next video link to do the actual paint lesson. I highly suggest that you put down some type of paper or newspaper under where you're going to be working. The paint is washable, but just to reduce mess and you know, frustration of mess, you might want to grab something to put underneath it, especially if you're going to be working on a countertop that is maybe special to your family and you don't want to potentially ruin it. So get something protective underneath you that is large enough to go all the way outside of your paper. So it can go, you know, make a border around your paper, okay? All right, so if you are back with me, that means that you have all your art materials. You have an adult, hopefully you have an adult sitting with you who can do this part. I'd like you to open your bag of primary color paint. Take it out carefully. Take the rubber band off. That was just to make sure it stayed stacked nicely. Okay, so you have red, yellow, and blue. If you are in Maestra Grimaldo's class, you got a full pour all the way to the top, because we are going to be using this paint for an additional a lesson later on. So you need to make sure that you're using your paint wisely and you are being conscientious of using what is needed and not wasting, please. Okay, because this is all the paint that you're going to get for this month from the school. All right, so I'm going to have you put yellow and blue to the side, and I want you to orient your plate where number 1 is at the top. Number 7 is right at the bottom. Okay, so number 1 at the top, and I want you to open up your red container just like this, and you are going to pour a little bit of red right here. We're going to be pouring all throughout the lesson. It does not need to be a huge pour. just a little bit of red on number 1. So I'm gonna give it a little more like that, okay? That is plenty. Now I would like you, hang on, to grab your paper towel, wipe the rim, and snap the lid back on because we do not want any spills. Every time you pour, I want you to snap the lid back on. Now I'd like you to grab your yellow. You are gonna skip number 2, 3, and 4, and you're gonna go right to number 5. And you're gonna open your yellow container. Adults are doing this, please. I would love it if an adult in your house were doing the pouring, please. You're gonna pour a little bit on number 5. And if that means you're waiting for the evening to do this, when an adult is home with you who has the time, if that means you're waiting for a weekend to do this, it doesn't matter to me when it gets done if you're doing this with an adult, because I am just really hoping that we're making this more of a homeschool connection lesson. All right, pop the container back on. You should have plenty left in here, majority of it really. Okay, so we poured on 1 red, skip 2, 3, 4. 5 was yellow, we're gonna skip 6, 7, 8, and we're gonna go to number 9, and that's gonna be blue. Open up your container, pour a little bit of blue on number 9, and you're good to go there. And pop your lid back on after you wipe the rim. This is just, wiping the rim just makes it less messy for you. And put that off to the side. And now we're ready to start our art lesson. So I want you to click on the next link, and that will get us to the actual painting part. You need to remember that you need to give yourself a good hour, hour and a half to do the next, these 2 videos together. If you don't finish the painting in that time, that's all right. It might take you a little bit longer, another sitting down, but I do want you to be conscientious of when you're pouring the paint to only pour a little bit at a time. And before you leave the lesson, and I will remind you this when we're doing the lesson, to then make sure that you use all the paint that's on your plate before you call it a day, okay? All right, click on the next link and we will get started.